Hey guys, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. If you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with another Let's Play episode of Heart of Amethyst. And today I'm coming at you with the latest build, 0.7, I think that's the one it is. Got a bunch of new content, especially for Almond. But anyway guys, let's just sit back and enjoy for the next 18 minutes to entertain you, and let's jump right in. Alarm changer up, and let's go. Okay. Famous. This is a word I'm not used to being described as, but before I can ask him... Edward. Roderick sends him a murderous look, and the knight seems shaken for a moment. I can't help but wonder what the hell is going on, but knowing Roderick, he won't let me ask. The pleasure is all mine, Sir Edward. The pleasure is all mine, Sir Edward. Ah, please, no need for such formalities, brother. We may as well have been born in the same year. Please, do call me Eddy. It's a nickname I'm most fond of. He's formal and knows his place, unlike some of the knights I've seen. So I'm guessing this Eddy comes from a rich family, maybe a second or third son. It's quite usual for those who aren't the heir to try and make a name for themselves, rather than carry around the name of their families. Indeed, that's why I thought it would be lucrative experience for both of you. Given you are pretty close in age, you both could learn a thing or two from each other. The two of us nod at Roderick's words. Eddy more excitedly than me, if I'm being honest. Is he really looking forward to this whole thing? Let's do our best, Sir Ehlly. Yeah. You can call me Ehlly, Ehlly, by the way. Just like you said, no need for formalities. The dog smiles and nods. Meanwhile, Roderick just stands there with a judgmental expression on his face. Alright then, since you two are acquainted for, let's go have some lunch before the match. Roderick goes first, leaving Eddy and me to follow his steps. The dog elbows me softly and then winks as we walk one beside the other. Maybe meeting this guy wasn't so bad after all. I'm starting to like him. It's a big-ass throne. The lunch felt quite rewarding after a morning of hard training. Besides, Eddy and I got to catch up a little as we ate. Turns out I was right. He's part of a rich family and he's not the heir. I feel really proud for figuring out most of his story, but there was a little detail that I got wrong. He's not the second or third child. He's not even the fifth. Turns out Eddy is the 11th kid out of 12. His family he's from Flugel, and his species is called Desert Wild Dog. According to him, his ancestors used to live in the wastelands, but they were cast out by the barbarians and were forced to settle in Flugel. Soon after that, they made a fortune as a merchant family by trading a great quality ores they brought from the wasteland. That's, really lucky. Don't get me wrong, they seem like nice people from what he lets on. But damn, most people just don't turn rich so easily. Eddy and I end up walking all the way to my tower. Roderick left mid-lunch, and he nicely asked me to keep Eddy entertained while he was away. I literally had no idea what to do, so I just asked him if he wanted a tour. He said yes, and here we are. This place is really marvelous. You're quite lucky, if I may say so myself. Whatever you say, man. I see this more as a fancy prison. Of course, I would never actually say that, especially not in front of someone who idolizes the idea of living here. I know, right? I've even got my own fancy room. Oh, really? Your very own room? I'm jealous, brother. I never had my own room while growing up. I had to share mine with 5 of my siblings. Is that so? I thought you would each have your own personal room. Only because I told you we were rich? Nothing furthest from the truth. Even if we are wealthy, we live in quite a humble house. Father says it was built by my great-great-great-grandfather. I'm probably missing a grade or two, but you get my point. It's family legacy, so I proudly say that I spent my puphood living in a small house. My cheeks grow a little red as I'm caught assuming things I shouldn't. Happens more often than not. I should learn to keep my big mouth shut. Did you really sleep with 5 other people? Must have really been really uncomfortable. To undo my mistake, I tried to switch the topic somewhere else. Indeed it was. There was no sense of privacy, and the smell of mail was quite potent at all times. Sometimes my older brothers would come back from a day long at work and fall asleep without even bathing. I don't know what to say to that. It doesn't sound so bad to me. Being stuck in a room with 5 sand dogs such as him who smell strong and have to sleep close to each other. I'm not even going to finish that thought. What about you, brother? How was your life growing up? Oh, me? You want to know about me? There's really not much to say. Oh, hold up. I missed something. There's really not much to say. Like I told you, I grew up in a cabin by the woods with my sister and parents. I told them an altered version of my past, in which both my parents are still alive and they live by the woods with my sis. Apparently, I just came here looking for it to be Mr. Biscotti's apprentice. It sure is a nice view, isn't it? I say as I try to not so subtly change the subject. He doesn't seem to mind, though. The dog just smiles and nods. I smile back at him and then walk a little further into the corridor. I lean on a wall close to the open holes in the corridor, enjoying the set view. He follows and gets his head out, getting hit by the strong summer breeze. Being up here makes me feel like I'm the actual king, he blurts out of the blue, taking me by surprise. I mean, being king must be cool and all, but according to what the old man has said, it's not the most rewarding job. Would you like to be? Who wouldn't? I wouldn't, but he doesn't need to know that, so I just shrug it off and pass on to the other topics. Is it hot like this from where you hail? Not at all. Flugel is a territory among the mountains, like most of the canine empire. So it's rather chilly. My family's fur is not made for cold weathers, so when I came to the capital, it felt like I was meant to be here. But let's not talk only about me, Ehlly. How about you? Tell me about the forest you came from. It surprises me that he's so willing to talk about me. After all, he's a guest. I should be the one doing the talking. It was a wonderful place, so peaceful and full of life. It felt like a little paradise, away from the hand of men. Why did you move, then? It must have been hard to live away from your beloved forest. He clearly has no ill intention, but talking about my past always makes me feel uncomfortable. But fair is fair, and he shared with me a lot about himself. Yeah, it was hard to live day by day, but I eventually managed to get used to it. I still crave to come back, but I can't go just yet. He seems content with my answer, nodding a few times. And what do you always do to make a living? What do you guys do to make a living? This Biscotti guy is a merchant from what you said, right? Yeah, we sell all sorts of goods in the market. And do you steal those? His comment took me by surprise. At first I thought it was a joke, but his face tells me otherwise. His whole attitude changed in a matter of seconds. He's not the easygoing guy anymore. He suddenly looks serious and very intimidating. Excuse me? What the hell's going on? Was that first impression a cover-up? Is this his real personality? Oh, please, Captain is not here anymore. Let's speak our minds, shall we? I refrain from saying anything. The change of pace happened so suddenly that I fear I'll say something stupid if I speak up right now. I wouldn't even know what to say, to be honest. Really, what the hell's going on? Look, brother, I'm not here to accuse you of anything. That was rude of me. But can you really blame me for being cautious? I know what you did in case you didn't know. It caused a lot of trouble. Not only for the king and the noblemen, but for us knights, too. I stand my ground, not wanting to look weak in front of him. The dog just laughs it off, as if we were having a casual conversation, but we both know it's not like that. You know, there's been a discussion among nobles lately. They think it's not safe to go around the city anymore. They demand that we escort them everywhere. They've doubled our shifts and they still pay the same. I mean, the king was attacked mere weeks ago. Can you believe such a thing? He remains quiet for a few seconds. His eyes are flaming with hatred as he tries to pierce into my soul. Double shifts and no gold. Now that doesn't seem very fair, does it? He takes a few steps closer to me, forcing me to back down until I reach a wall. I have to work double shifts while you stay here and sit your butt off all day. Getting personal training from the best swordsman in all the kingdom. He's got me cornered against a wall, with his hands placed on each side of my head, his face mere inches away from mine. So, imagine how pleased I was when the captain told me that I would get a day off. A day off! At long last, after weeks of not sleeping properly. And to top it all off, all I had to do was break you, the asshole that caused the trouble in the first place. Aren't I a lucky one, brother? His words washed down on me like a bucket of cold water. I wanted to say something so bad, even punch him in the face if I must, but I'm frozen in place. I know I messed up pretty bad, but until now I refuse to think about the consequences of my actions. The king always made it seem like it had all been taken care of, like there was nothing wrong anymore. That I could live a fancy life for once. Look at all... Ah! Wait, what? What was that? Looks like it was all but... Hey, you guys are up here? Luckily for me, we hear Almond's voice echoing from behind us. Eddy takes a few steps away from me, switching to his good guy face again. The wolf smiles when he notices us and then walks closer. Ah, good. Finally found you, mate. Oh yeah, Australian. Oh, good. Finally found you, mates. Roderick says he's waiting for you in the training grounds. Better not keep him waiting, eh? Eddy looks nervous about that, but the wolf gives him a reassuring smile. Don't worry, mate. He ain't mad. He just needs you down there. No, thank the goddesses. Better make haste, then. It was a pleasure to chat with you, Ehlly. Is it Eli? Guys, tell me in the comments, is it Eli or is it Ehlly? It really looks like it's spelled Ehlly. I'll be waiting for our match. The dog smiles back at me and then bows in front of Almond as a way to show respect. Then he vanishes down the stairs. And I'm about to follow him, Ullman stops me by placing his arm around my shoulder. Is this the guy you were so worried about? He ain't look that strong. Well, first, I'm sure he's quite strong. He's a knight after all. And second, I wasn't worried. I was just a little tense. Mate, I could smell the sweat on your fur yesterday when Roderick told you about the match. You were hella nervous. You still are, now that I think about it. Ullman shamelessly takes a whiff on my neck, making me blush like a silly teenage maiden. Cut it out! I say, pushing him a few steps away from me. He looks at me with a suspicious look before he decides to talk again. You're not often this jumpy, mate. This isn't only about the match, is it? It's nothing, really. Mate, I know I'm not the most sensitive and trustworthy lad, but you can trust me, eh? Said he's not the most trustworthy person. Did something happen while you two were... No, nothing happened, it's just... I sigh, feeling the weight of my own anxiety getting to me. I don't often talk to anyone about my inner turmoils, but today I really want to get it out. Do you think I'm worthy of being the king's retainer? I mean, I could have killed him after all. And it could have been nothing but trouble. Ullman remains quiet for a moment I fear that I might have overwhelmed him with my insecurities. You sure are more worthy than me, mate. My ears perk up at his response. He has a reassuring yet sad smile on his face. I was quite the trouble for the old man, as well when he decided to take me in. I had been just accused of a terrible crime, and a certain rich family wanted my head on a stick. The old man stood up for me, and I hated myself for that. I kept saying that he did it out of pity, and I despised him for it. But I was just refusing to see the bigger picture. Eventually, I came to the realization that he did it because he saw something in me, even if I didn't see it myself. So cheer up, mate. If that old sack of bones made you his retainer, I know for a fact that you're worth his time. Also, if that asshole told you anything, just let me know, okay? I'm good at talking to people. Ullman gave me an eerie smile. A smile that tells me he's not planning to talk to Eddy at all. I told you, it wasn't him. He takes a few steps closer and gives me a warm side hug. I hug him back and sigh. My anxiety still lingers, but at least now I've found new courage. And to think that that guy who gave it to me was... Damn, you sure smell good, mate. This is the first time you've let me hug you in a while. My cheeks go full tomato mode as I push him away from me once more. Cliff just laughs, wiping a tear from his eye. I love almond. Everybody loves almond. Why did he have to ruin the moment like that? Jerk. Let's go, mate. We shouldn't keep big grumpy Roderick waiting. He walks past me, his tail swinging from left to right. Prove enough that he enjoyed the whole thing. He's such an idiot. Oh my god, he's such an idiot. Roderick calls us to the backyard. It's around the 13th hour and the sun is hitting harder than ever in the summer afternoon. As both you know, the king will be accompanying us today for this. Eddy and I bow in front of the king, presenting our respects to him. The old man smiles and offers us a dismissive gesture, letting us know that we don't have to be so formal. Also joining us, we have Sir Icallus and Sir Almond, both king retainers, such as Sir Ehlly and myself. Eddy grunts, but soon hides it with a smile and a nod. He probably already knew all that, but Roderick is just being overly formal. Alright then. Given that there's no need for further introductions, I'll explain the rules. This will be a spar with wooden swords. No armor or any sort of protective gear is allowed. Aside from that, the only invalid moves are those that involve the use of crim. This is supposed to be an exercise to test your strength, stamina, and technique, meaning that the use of magic would be an unfair disadvantage to the other part. Is it all clear? Eddy and I both nod at the same time. The Black Wolf then nods in return. Alright then, we'll start soon. Get ready. As he finishes saying that, Roderick signals me to follow him with a quick tilt of his head. I follow his lead and we both end up a few feet away from everyone else. The wolf is looking at me with a severe expression, making me feel tiny in return. Listen to me, Runt. You have to win. Gee, talk about pressure. Do you think I don't know that? Wish I could tell him that, but instead I just nod. This is not just an exercise, it's a test for you, both for you and me. If you do well, I will prove that I can turn even someone like you into a decent warrior. I'll have to admit, this isn't Roderick's best pep talk. He's often better than this. He seems to notice me doing funny faces because he sighs deeply and then places a huge hand on my shoulder. Look, he's still a rookie. He's been a knight for less than a year and he did fairly good back at the academy. Exactly, he's been a knight for a year and he went to an academy. Do you even hear what you're saying? I don't have a chance. I've been a trainee for less than a month. My words seem to anger Roderick for some reason, but this time I'm standing my ground. I'm really pissed at him for thinking this was a good idea. It looks like he's about to yell at me, but then he takes a deep breath and calms down. Look, Runt, most knights don't train daily. They slack off a lot and they don't do what they're supposed to. I would know because I'm in charge of those lazy bastards. But you train every single day. And you stood your ground every single day, even when I thought I had gone overboard. But the most important thing is, you have talent. He presses his index finger to my chest each time he says a sentence. His face looks sharp and full of resolve, not angry or aggressive as usual. So have some damn faith and grow some balls, Runt. You got this. Now, instead of his finger, he presses his fist on my chest. Our eyes are locked in place, and his seem to be burning. Where does all this come from? I must admit that this is his best pep talk so far. So tell me, are you ready? I... Answer me properly, Runt. Are you ready? His eyes seem to be piercing a hole through my skull, as he's not even blinking. Yes, I am. Hey, Edward, you ready? As ready as I'll be, Captain. Captain? The dog says happily as he finishes taking his armor off. The man has a well-toned body with some impressive muscles and some nice-looking chest fluff. Taking my eyes away from the dog, I turn to check on the onlookers. The king is sitting under one of the trees, looking as old as ever, his signature smile never fading from his face. And there's a Callus, who looks bored as per usual. He's leaning on the tree, reading a book. Meanwhile, Almond is just being Almond, I guess. He's giving Edward some angry looks, but he tries to play it cool when he sees me staring. What an idiot he is. I sigh deeply and take off my shirt, stretching my muscles in the process. Take some more deep breaths, try to even out my heart rate and calm my nerves. This is actually a technique Almond taught me, as crazy as that sounds. Almond classes have been quite weird. He started teaching me how to handle a bow, but then one day he just came out with the idea to teach me something different. He started to teach me different exercises to be more calm and flexible in battle, to say it somehow. Why did he do that? I have no idea, but right now I'm quite grateful he decided to do it. It doesn't matter now. What I need to do is focus. So I close my eyes for a moment. I try to review all the things I've been learning for the past 3 weeks. My mind wanders to the many times Roderick almost killed me with his crazy training. But at the same time, I think about the way he tries his best to make something useful out of me. I remember the countless hours I've been studying books and maps. Callus came off as cold at the beginning, but he's really nice. He answers all my dumb questions and we end up having a laugh out of them. And lastly, I picture all those afternoons with Almond. He's the funniest to hang out with. He's the funniest to hang out with when he keeps his hands out of my pants. Those three are so different, and yet they've done their best to teach me. I won't let them down. I'm ready. I can do this. I am no coward. Oh my. Wow, what a piece of art. Oh, hello there, thumbnail. When I open my eyes, I'm in absolute peace of mind. I hold my sword high, keep my feet steady on the ground, and ready to give it my all. Are you ready? Sir Ehlly? Yes. Alright then, begin! Alright guys, I'm out of time. Seems like the perfect place to actually pause it too. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Oh man, I can't wait. The next episode is going to be the big battle. Can't wait. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or a tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!